What's good, Internet? My name is attackslug, and welcome to the greatest Backlash predictions video ever. By which I mean to say, the best, the best, the best, the best. Here we go. We have 7 announced matches here on the card as of a Friday afternoon. I haven't watched SmackDown yet, so perhaps things change on SmackDown. I don't know. I'm going to say what I have right here, and let's get into it. First match on the card is going to be Jeff Hardy versus the Celtic Warrior Sheamus. And it feels like they've been building and building and building for a proper top guy run for Jeff Hardy. So why would he lose here to Sheamus? I think even after being framed for vehicular assault under the influence, Jeff Hardy overcomes the odds and beats Sheamus here in hopefully a great match. We shall see this Sunday. Now then, your U.S. champion, Apollo Crews, going one-on-one with Andrade in a rematch, because we all know that Apollo beat Andrade for that U.S. championship. And here's the thing, right? The whole goal of the Paul Heyman Raw was to get new guys over, right? It was a fresh talent initiative. And now that Paul Heyman is no longer in charge of Raw, will those talent, like say an Apollo Crews, continue to move forward, or will they just revert to the guys they had with those titles? So that is kind of in the air. But also, we're not sure, is this match going to be on the kickoff show or not? Because I think if this match is on the kickoff, then Apollo retains the title. If this is on the main card, then perhaps Andrade gets that belt back and they continue building that faction with Andrade and Angel Garza on Raw. Time will tell this Sunday night. Moving on, we have our Women's Tag Team Championship Triple Threat. It's going to be your champions, which is Sasha and Bayley. That's going to be versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, who are former champions. And the third team, the former champions of the Iconics. And this one really depends on at what point do we begin the feud between Sasha and Bayley. Because I feel like this is going to be your catalyst for when that eventually comes to pass is, oh, they got the belts, they lost them. And Sasha is jealous and wants to face Bayley. And that, I think, is going to happen at SummerSlam, right? So, do you have the impetus for that happening on this show on Sunday, or is that going to be on the whatever the July pay-per-view ends up being? Because we know that SummerSlam is in August. Now, is SummerSlam in front of a crowd? That remains to be seen. But I think if you're going to have a new set of champions here on this show, it just might be the Iconics on Sunday night. That's my guess. But they could push it off another month until the next show, until the next greatest ever show happening. Whatever. Who knows? But also happening is Asuka, your Raw Women's Champion, defending against Nia Jax. I just don't see Nia Jax beating Asuka. I want to see a dominant Raw champion in Asuka for at least a few months. First defense, solidify that championship reign and have her beat Nia Jax. And please, leave Kairi Sane out of it. Don't hurt poor Kairi Sane anymore, because we know how Nia can be in the ring sometimes. A lot of the times. Not cool. Stop doing that. So, moving on. We have your Universal Championship match. Is a weird one. It is your Monster Among Men Universal Champion Braun Strowman in a handicap match, defending against Miz and Morrison. Hey, ho, ho. And it's still Braun Strowman, right? And I don't see any reason to have that belt get taken off of Braun Strowman before he fights The Fiend. After he beat Bray Wyatt, they teased The Fiend. And I could see Braun versus The Fiend happening at SummerSlam as you continue to build towards whatever that's going to be. So this is just a transitional feud for Braun Strowman, and I see him running through both Miz and Morrison. Hey, ho, ho, Braun retains the title. It is what it is, man. And speaking of it is what it is, we have your WWE Champion, Drew McIntyre, defending against Bobby Lashley. And will MVP interfere in this match? Possibly. Potentially. But again, if you're going to have Drew lose to somebody at some point, somewhere, wouldn't that be at a bigger show? Wouldn't that be at a SummerSlam? Even if you want to push it off until next month, wouldn't that be somewhere else? And referee here going to count to an 8? What is happening? Randy, Edge is supposed to be the greatest CPU match of all time, and Randy wins on a count out. That's not the greatest of all time. Orton, what are you doing on the ropes, Randy? What was that? I think because they're so heavily hyping this Edge versus Randy Orton match, I don't see these championship matches meaning much of anything. Therefore, both champions retain. Braun retains and Drew McIntyre retains against hopefully a good match with Bobby Lashley. And Bobby Lashley, even that was a replacement for what was supposed to be the modern-day Maharaja, who got hurt again and had to have another surgery, etc., etc. Don't worry about that. It is what it is, man. So yes, Drew retains against Lashley, and we'll see who the next challenger is as we head towards SummerSlam. And that brings us to what they keep telling us is going to be the greatest wrestling match of all time. I have my doubts, right? But at the end of the day, you still have to say, all right, can you pick a victor here? What is the meaningful victor for the greatest wrestling match of all time between the Rated R Superstar and the Apex Predator, the Viper, the Legend Killer, Randy Orton? Who needs it more? Does it matter with Edge being a part-time guy and Randy Orton kind of being there when he feels like it type of a situation? Because Randy's not working on matches on TV these days. Randy does what Randy wants, and with no crowd, it is what it is. But I will say that more importantly, for my money, Edge should win this match. And why? Because after winning at WrestleMania in a street fight, falls count anywhere, last man standing, whatever, right? And after hopefully winning this Sunday in a straight up wrestling match, that puts Randy Orton, that feud moves aside, right? We only have Edge back for a limited amount of years and matches. I want to see Edge fight guys who are not Randy Orton. I want to see Edge fight talent that he's never fought before, right? I want those matches. I want some AJ Styles. I want some guys from NXT. Like, I want matches that Edge has never had before in the business before he finally sets those boots aside and hangs it up for his career. Like, so if Randy Orton wins this Sunday, conceivably, we could see another match between these two. And I don't want another match between these two. So give Edge that decisive victory, and therefore we will never have to see Randy Orton and Edge ever again, and give Edge some fresh and new opponents, and that would be stellar. So I'm saying that Edge wins in what they keep on telling us is going to be the greatest match of all time. I don't think it'll be as good as Savage Steamboat, but that's just my opinion. And also I've heard it's going to be very long, and I'm like, look, again, Savage and Steamboat, that was a 14.5-minute match. You don't need to have a half an hour. You don't need to have 45 minutes. The length of the match does not equal the greatness of a match. Learn from history, or else you're going to be doomed to repeat it, or so they say. I'm attackslug. This was the greatest predictions video of all time ever. So there you go. Tune in on Sunday night, or don't. Up to you. But I'll see you here for more videos and more predictions and whatever else on this channel. The best, the best, the best, the best. And I'm out.